Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are at odds again, but this time it is their proteges who are battling it out. So we have Tim Canova versus Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who is, for the first time ever, facing a primary challenge. Now, we all know that Debbie Wasserman Schultz, otherwise known as Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz, aka Debt Trap Debbie, aka Hillary's Mini-Me, is really corrupt. So not only is she a centrist Democrat who typically teams up with Republicans to fight against Democrats, so one example is how she attacked Elizabeth Warren's Consumer Protection Agency that protects citizens from predatory payday lenders just to appease her donors. But besides her just being bad on policy, we all know that she's also corrupt because she used her power as the DNC chair to try to sabotage and destroy Bernie Sanders' campaign. And when the WikiLeaks email was released, and they released 20,000 DNC emails, well, it showed that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was using her power to do what she could to squelch progressive campaigns. And she didn't just do this to Bernie Sanders, she did it to Tim Canova as well. So both her and Hillary, they're two peas in a pod because they can't win unless they cheat. So that's how they win. That's what they think democracy involves. Now, we all know that even though she was forced to resign after the WikiLeaks scandal, well, it wasn't a real punishment for her because that same day, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was appointed as Hillary Clinton's honorary campaign chair. Not joking. So not only has Hillary Clinton decided to embrace Debbie Wasserman Schultz, but she literally hit the campaign trail on Debbie's behalf. She is now campaigning to get Debbie Wasserman Schultz reelected. And if you're curious as to why 1/3 of Bernie Sanders supporters still won't back Hillary Clinton, this might be a reason why. So Hillary gave a speech to about 50 people at Debbie's campaign headquarters, and she had this to say: "I'm here today with a very simple message. I can't think of anyone who more deserves your support for re-election, starting with the primary on August 30th, than my friend Debbie, and I am committed to doing whatever I can to support her as she returns to the Congress with your support. Please do everything you can to make sure Debbie has a resounding victory on August 30th. And she also said, "I'm here to urge you to keep doing what you're doing every single day on behalf of Debbie. I want to have her in the Congress by my side, working day after day to actually implement the agenda that we are fighting on her behalf." And that agenda that she's talking about is to fight to appease her donors, as we've seen with both Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because it's really easy to have an ally in Congress if you both have the same donors. So you're going to align on everything politically. And also now, there were other notable Democrats that decided to campaign for Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz. We have Gabby Giffords, we have Nancy Pelosi, and civil rights legend John Lewis. They're all expected to campaign for Debbie in Florida. And more and more Democrats that you once admired are losing credibility because they are refusing to not only distance themselves from these corrupt corporatist Democrats, but they're running towards them. Now, to counter this, Bernie Sanders is helping Tim Canova with fundraising, and he sent out a mass email to his supporters urging them to donate to Tim Canova. So we kind of have this proxy war now going on between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, and if Hillary Clinton was smart, she would just back off and distance herself from Debbie in order to actually cultivate favorability among Sanders supporters, but it's Hillary. So Tim Canova, Debbie's challenger, has officially filed an FEC complaint against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, alleging that she used her power as DNC chair to try to sabotage his campaign just in the way that she did it to Bernie Sanders. So he states Debbie used her position with the DNC and the resources of the DNC to improperly benefit her congressional campaign. The DNC paid a team of national senior communications and political professionals significant sums of money for their consulting services, and the Wasserman Schultz for Congress campaign utilized these services free of charge. Now here's him talking about this on Fox News.
If you do a search of the WikiLeaks DNC file, you'll see that my name comes up dozens and dozens and dozens of times. This wasn't 2 words that she sent by email. This was a repeated pattern of her campaign using DNC resources to monitor my campaign and to try to crush my campaign.
And do you have, Mr. Canova, in the emails you mentioned where your name does come up, I mean, is it
Yes.
specific kind of let's do this? For instance, the Sanders complaint against Hillary Clinton was the coordination of debates to help Hillary
Yes.
Clinton. Is it that kind of stuff going on in the emails? Is there one that you can, I'm not saying you're not telling us the truth. We just want to be able to say to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, here it is.
Well, sure. Again, go to the website. You'll see my name comes up dozens of times, and you can read it for yourself. But, she was using DNC resources to try to figure out how to respond to all kinds of events that my campaign was doing. That's not a matter of two words saying uncool or not cool. This was a repeated pattern of trying to use the DNC resources to respond to my campaign. So that's clear violations of federal law. And you know something? The WikiLeaks disclosures show that this is a pattern with Wasserman Schultz of saying one thing and doing another. And it really distracts people from the real issues. And I've been trying to get her into a debate for 4 months now to talk about real issues. I think it's a shame that the press really pays most attention when I file a Federal Election Commission complaint against her. But, for 4 months I've been trying to have her debate the issues. She's been dodging it. Last week, she told the local paper that she agreed to debate and that she was negotiating the terms of debates. I've never heard from her office at all.
Let me, a spokesperson for the Congresswoman provided a statement to us regarding this, and it's, quote, "There's no merit to this complaint. The Congresswoman's opponent is wasting her constituents' time with attacks based on stolen, cherry-picked information. It's time he got serious." It sounds to me like you're serious. What would you say to the Wasserman Schultz campaign spokesperson?
I would say the spokesperson really doesn't have much of a role to play. At this point, she better have some lawyers who respond within 15 days to the complaint.
Now, besides just using the resources of the DNC to help her own political career, here's what else she did. So she banned his access to Van and refused to debate him. And these are the same tactics that, if you don't remember, Hillary Clinton used against Bernie Sanders. Now get this, she attacked Tim Canova because he's taking money from people outside of the state of Florida, because many of Bernie Sanders supporters are funneling donations into the state of Florida from outside. But meanwhile, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is taking money from groups outside of America. She's literally taking money from multinational corporations. So I don't think you have any room to talk there, Debbie. Now, after months and months of Tim Canova practically begging her to show up to a debate, she has finally agreed to debate him. Now, he even showed up to her office to confront her and asked why she wouldn't agree to a debate, and one of her staffers literally tried to snatch the camera away from one of Tim's aides. So, just to reiterate, they literally got physical when confronted with the possibility of a debate. But she did, in fact, agree to a debate for 15 minutes. So after months and months of him saying, hey, let's debate, she said, okay, let's debate. You get 15 minutes only. So Tim Canova's response was basically, no. That's like a slap in the face. We've been trying to debate all this time, and you're going to give me 15 minutes? I mean, think of how condescending that is. She's looking at him like he's this peasant and that he's not worthy of her time. So for him to take that, it's like saying, yeah, I'll take anything. I'll take the scraps that you want to give me. And I think that he has to make a stand and say no. Now, when he kind of raised, a little bit of fuss about this, she did agree to a 60-minute debate, and he has accepted that. So they will be debating on a Sunday show, thankfully. But in spite of all this shenanigans, Politico argues that she still seems poised to beat Tim Canova, not only because she's outpolling him currently, but because she has a lot of name recognition in that district. But here's the thing, the primary isn't until August 30th, and if you just send in $3 to Tim Canova, that can really help him make a difference. But you can also go to his website and volunteer to help him out. You can phone bank, face bank, you can do things to get Tim Canova elected. So even though it's the case that Debbie Wasserman Schultz cheated and tipped the scales in her favor, just like Hillary Clinton did against Bernie Sanders, well, we can still try to win. We can send a message to the establishment that you don't get to cheat. You don't get to put forth these corrupt corporatist candidates and expect them to win. So there is still time to make a difference. If you want to help, go to Tim Canova's website. I will include a link in the description box, because we have to send a message to the establishment that progressives are a force to be reckoned with.